Hurry up. Sip your coffee.
Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my brother from the same mother, Alex. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm a drunken grown-up today.
You're a drunken grown-up every day.
Oh, imagine? I couldn't do that.
Yes. Actually, I don't have to imagine.
You don't have to imagine?
No. I mean, not that I'm a drunken grown-up now, but there have been periods in my life where I was a drunken grown-up every day.
College days, probably?
Those would be some of the drunken grown-up days.
More drinking than studying?
Yes, at times. I was good.
Well, you balanced it out pretty well. You graduated college.
This is the thing about college. Someone told me before I went, if you treat it like a job, you put in 8 hours a day, you only go to class for 4 or 5 hours. If you put in 2 or 3 hours of studying alongside that, you treat it like a job, put in 8 hours a day, you'll do fine. And don't skip class. So, back in those days, and actually probably still now, I could go out and drink at night and still make it to an 8 o'clock class and put in 8 hours of classes and studying and be fine and be good to go. Sure, I'd have to catch up with some sleep at some point, but I could do it for days on end. There was always a Tuesday right around the corner where you could just not drink
and sleep all day.
After sleep after my 8-hour shift, so to speak.
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't go to college. I would have trouble balancing studies and drinking
and the good times.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and here's the thing about the other thing, right? Like part of the good time, you could mix part of the good time in with your job, right? So at class, you could go to class and sit next to some of your buddies, or sit with a cute girl. If you go to study, you can study with a cute girl. Go to the library. So that was like my standard line. Hey, I don't understand this addition stuff. You want to go to the library and study for a while?
It's a great pickup line.
It worked every time. Well, not every time, but it worked quite a bit.
That's a good pickup line.
Yeah, and then it's like, hey, what are we doing this weekend? Study some more? Maybe we can move on to something.
Overtime?
Maybe we can move on to something a little more advanced in addition, like, I don't know.
Sex ed.
Biology.
My name's Ed. Sex ed. So, I was scrolling through Twitter today, and I found a pretty fascinating article that I found fascinating and very interesting. And actually, it happens to it talks about one of my favorite places of the house.
Right.
Apparently, this Belgian man,
yes,
sat on the toilet for 116 hours, damn near 5 straight hours.
Days.
Hours.
5 straight days.
No, 116
hours is almost 5 days.
Oh, 5 days. Yeah. Right, yeah. See, this is why
time conversion is difficult.
This is the result of Alex not going to college. See? God, we finally figured it out.
So he was trying to break, one of these Guinness Book World Records.
The record was 165 hours.
Right.
That's crazy. And so...
but here's the thing that's stupid about that. First of all, it wasn't a toilet. It was a ceramic bowl that someone set. It's not like he was sitting in a bathroom on a toilet.
Right.
He was sitting on a bowl that looked like a toilet in front of a bar with no plumbing.
No plumbing.
So it didn't smell bad. He couldn't relieve himself if he wanted to.
Well, this is what they did. He had permission for 5 minutes per hour to get up and use the bathroom if he had to.
Yeah, and here's the other stupid thing. He could accumulate those 5 minutes.
Right, yeah.
So after 12 hours, he could take an hour off.
Yeah.
Look.
Okay, so...
everyone wants to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. I get it. But stop with the bullshit ones.
But what if that... we have to look at it. What if that one doesn't specify any of that stuff?
Look, if the record for being on the toilet is 165 hours, I don't care how Mr. 165 did it.
It's a toilet.
You do not break that record unless you sit in a bathroom for 165 hours. And here's the other question. What if you fall asleep? Does that still count?
Yeah, if you're sitting down. I mean, as long as you're sitting down on the toilet.
Right. So, I mean, you could put a little pillow behind you, lean up against the bowl. I mean, this does not seem like it should be in the Guinness Book thing at all. It seems dumb.
Sure it is, because they have everything in the Guinness World Book.
Well, they need to take this one out.
They have,
and the 5-minute thing needs to go. Look, can you have someone bring you food?
Yeah, he was allowed to eat. He was allowed to eat.
Well,
he was at a bar, so I mean.
How hard can this be? This is dumb. All this is I mean, all you have to have to be able to do this is the will to sit on a toilet for 165 hours. Look, why don't we try it?
Right,
I'll bring you food and a pillow, and I'll wait on you hand and foot for 7 days so that you can break 165 and you can sit on the crapper all the whole time. Now, look. Yeah, but let me know so I don't walk in when you have to relieve yourself.
Yeah, but a toilet is a toilet. It doesn't matter if it's plumbing attached to it or not. It's a toilet. It's a toilet. A toilet's a toilet.
There's no physical. Look, I'm going for the Guinness Book World Record myself. I'm at 48 years and 3 weeks of breathing. I mean, it's as dumb as that.
You got ways to go.
Probably. I mean, that's just dumb.
I think I would need. I think I could do it because I mean the toilet's my favorite spot, right, of the house. It really is. I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, to get away from my kids sometimes. I say, hey kids, I gotta use the restroom. It's a Mondo Duke. I gotta go, and I just sit there and I look at YouTube videos. And I mean, if I get tired of doing that, I put my elbows on my thighs and I stare at the wall. I start thinking about life. Like, why didn't I go to college? I start thinking about shit like that, you know?
Have you come across any great discoveries in your time sitting there with your elbows on your thighs in the bathroom?
No, but I will...
The Positive Shitting Experience podcast.
But I'll tell you what. I think I take that back. I don't think I could do it. After 5 minutes of sitting there, my freaking feet fall asleep. And that, it feels like I have on these fucking gigantic, girly, fluffy teddy bear slippers on. And I'm like, it's real soft on the body. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be wearing sneakers, but it'll be like, I can't feel nothing. That's the worst.
This is the dumbest Guinness Book World Record ever.
Your foot has never fallen asleep? While you
sitting on the crapper?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
I mean,
Man,
I don't sit there for that long.
Well, how long are your shits?
I mean, I don't know.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
I've never timed it, but I've never made it through a full episode of Sports Center, so less than 30 minutes.
So 25 minutes? That's a long time.
No, because I don't think I've ever made it through it. No. Probably 15 maybe on a bad day.
So you're probably spending less time actually taking care of business and maybe going through your phone or reading the magazine?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would have to say so.
Yeah. There's certainly some extra time in there just
because
finishing the article.
Because if you're looking at something on your phone, right?
Like I'm not getting up until I finish this article about how to manscape.
Yeah, exactly. That's important. You better finish that because, But yeah, the only issue I have is my feet falling asleep. And that's real.
So you really think this is a worthy thing to be in the Guinness Book of World Records?
If take away the it's got to be a real toilet. You got to be able to actually use it. If you have to go, use it. I mean, yeah, they got so many dumb things in the Guinness.
Would you take the 5 minutes?
What do you mean, take the 5 minutes?
Would you be a wuss and take the 5-minute break?
No, I would not. No, because the whole point of it is to be on there, right? Yeah, is to be on there. But I would think that the toilet would have to have some plumbing, and you can take care of business. And I'd rather it not be at a bar. Right?
It seems kind of dumb that in your attempt to break the record for longest time sitting on a toilet,
you get to stand.
You've got to get up to use the toilet.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, but they got
that is so dumb.
But the Guinness World Book of Record, whatever, has so many dumb challenges.
Yeah. No, they've gotten to the point now where they've got stupid
Everything.
stuff. You know, the Toronto Marathon is like one of their selling points is come set your Guinness Book World Record here, and so they have all kinds of people trying to run the fastest marathon, you know, in a tuxedo, and the fastest marathon handcuffed to their partner, and the fastest marathon blindfolded. I don't know. They've got all kinds of stuff. The fastest marathon. There was one this year that wearing a costume of Big Ben, that big clock over in London.
Okay.
Yeah, he won. He wanted to break the world record for the fastest marathon running in a Big Ben costume. It's like,
see, you got all kinds of dumb shit.
The Guinness Book of World Record used to be cool. Like when you look through that thing, you used to sit in the library and look through it. There'd be all kinds of crazy physical feats. You know, like the woman with the longest fingernails.
Yeah, but think about it. You can do something so stupid and you get your name in a book and people get to read about you and how stupid.
How many people do you think are going to read about you and even remember it?
It doesn't matter. You're in a book forever, bro.
They're probably not even going to talk about you. So, you know.
But you're
okay.
Someone's going to look at your article.
Look it up.
And your name.
See if you can find the Guinness Book World Record for the longest podcast.
We did. Remember, wasn't it like over a day? We looked at it. We looked at it.
We should do that.
Shit. We would definitely need an outline. Nah, we probably wouldn't.
I'll tell you what should go in the Guinness Book of World Record. This NBA offseason as the weirdest, most active NBA offseason ever.
I said last year that last year was going to be the best NBA season we've seen in a while. I think this year it's going to be even better.
I don't think I've ever enjoyed an off-season of a particular sport more than this one. I shouldn't say enjoy because it's really not that big of a deal to me. But just the number of times I've said, wow, I can't believe XYZ happened. You know, like I didn't think KD and Kyrie were going to team up. I didn't think that was going to happen.
You didn't think they were going to team up at all?
I didn't think they were going to team up in Brooklyn. I didn't. Well, you know what? I wasn't sure they were going to team up. I thought it was smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
And I actually thought KD was going to stay with the Warriors, but whatever. I didn't see the Paul George thing coming at all.
I don't think
I
nobody
didn't see
did.
I didn't see the Chris Paul thing. The Russell Westbrook thing. I didn't think it was possible for one team, not even one team, to take Chris Paul off the Rockets' hands. Now, there's going to be two teams because the Oklahoma City Thunder took him from the Rockets, and now they're going to trade him someplace else. So that means two teams have been willing to make that deal. Granted, OKC did it just as a kind of pass-through.
Right.
But one team out there, there's another team out there that's going to eat $124 million contract over the next year for a guy that's worth not nearly that much.
I think whoever gets him, it sounds like Miami's the front runner maybe or whatever, but whoever gets him, that's the wrong move. And I feel bad if the Thunder are kind of stuck with him if they were thinking the whole time, well, we can just turn around and flip him, right?
And if they get more draft picks out of that, I just don't understand it.
Now, I saw something on Twitter, and I forgot who tweeted it out. I forgot who tweeted it out, but would be very smart. Oklahoma City should now move back to Seattle. And his tweet says something along the lines of, now that they have all these draft picks, they stockpiled, this is a good time to move them to Seattle and kind of grow them back, because Oklahoma is obviously nobody wants to play in Oklahoma, and they've been talking about it for a while. I think that'd be kind of awesome to bring back the Sonics. That might be
I could take it or leave it either way.
Yeah.
I like the Thunder in OKC. From what I hear, they get great fan support and all that jazz. The problem is that no one wants to go play there. But Seattle wasn't, people are nostalgic about Seattle and the Sonics, Look, there's a reason they left. They weren't drawing. And they weren't going to get a new stadium and all this other stuff. The city didn't want them. They do a lot of pissing and moaning about, the Sonics left. Hey, y'all didn't want them. Just like one day the Tampa Bay Rays are going to move out of Tampa. I don't want to hear it. One day the Miami Marlins are going to move out of Miami. I don't want to hear it from Miami fans or from Tampa Bay fans because those stadiums are half empty all the time.
But I think now that you have a football team and they've kind of been
they've
stable
had a football team for a long time.
Right, but now the Seahawks are much better than they were way back when, and
True.
so But shit, when you think about it, the Sonics had Ray Allen, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Imagine that, and they didn't want a team then.
So the big question that comes up since the last time we talked about basketball is, where does this Russell Westbrook trade put the Rockets in the West?
During the regular season, maybe top 4.
Okay. Western Conference Finals?
Oh yeah, Western Conference Finals.
NBA Finals?
No, not a chance.
Who's going to beat them?
Not a chance.
Who's going to beat them?
Not a chance.
What other team in the NBA can score 350 points a game? None.
With 2 basketballs. See,
none.
They have to play with 2 basketballs.
No other team can score as much as the Rockets can.
Man,
defense wins championships, except next year when Russell Westbrook and James Harden have a team putting up 250 a night.
I mean, they're going to be playing 3-on-5 on the other side of the court. Those guys ain't going to run back on defense. They're going to want to score.
It don't matter because they're going to score. You miss one shot, you're screwed. Game over. You're never catching up.
I mean, obviously, this is I think it's a huge improvement, upgrade, having Westbrook over Chris Paul. But, again, at the end of the day, what are they going to do when it's time to take the last shot? D'Antoni, to me...
They're going to take it twice.
D'Antoni, to me, still isn't, a championship coach. And even if he ever does win a championship coach, it'll probably be because the other team had tons of injuries. So I don't see them.
So you don't give. So are you saying the guy from Toronto's not a championship coach? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you taking a backhanded shot at the Toronto coach?
No, because he only had one superstar.
Are you? But you just made that very clear right there. The only time D'Antoni's going to win a championship is when the other team is injured. Kind of like alluding to the Toronto coach this year with Golden State.
They only had one star. Rockets have 2 stars.
I think you're backhanding the Toronto coach. That's what I hear. What's his name?
Nick
I guess
Nurse.
Me saying what's his name is me kind of backhanding him.
Nick Nurse?
Yeah.
The Rockets...
massage shoulder Nurse.
Yeah.
I look... In the West, where everything is kind of jumbled up, I think the Rockets have a very good chance of making it to the NBA Finals now. It's a big upgrade from Chris Paul to Russell Westbrook. A, from a talent perspective. B, from an injury perspective. Right? Russell Westbrook, very durable guy. Chris Paul, aging veteran with lots of, nicks and bruises.
You think Westbrook doesn't know that James Harden has been choking the past 2 years in the playoffs? I mean, he has not shown up at all. Both of them they are the same freaking player.
Exactly. If you have one good thing, what's better than one good thing? 2 good things.
Too bad there's only one hoop and one ball.
And they will fill that hoop with that ball repeatedly. Well, here's the thing too, Alex. I mean, we're looking at this strictly from the Rockets' point of view. But if you expand your view a little bit and look at the entire conference, there's fluctuation and changes everywhere. The Clippers are bringing 2 stars together that have never played together. The Lakers, the Warriors are dinged up from losing Durant and Klay Thompson.
Although they've done a pretty good job in the offseason of kind of replenishing the roster a little bit.
But again, that's going to take some gelling and will it work, right? Who knows?
Right.
Who knows, right? So it's going to be very interesting, and the Rockets are bringing back 2 guys together that have played together before. They know how to work together. So I agree with you. The fact that there'll be 0 defense on that team is certainly concerning, but at the same time, Man, that's a lot of points you got to score.
What I like is that all these teams now have. And remember one thing: LeBron missed the finals this season. He missed the playoffs entirely. I will not be surprised if the Lakers make the finals. I'm sorry. The NBA needs LeBron at least one more time. Well, at least one more time in there. But
the problem for the Lakers will be health and pieces around LeBron that want to play with LeBron. I don't think there's very many people that want to play with LeBron, and quite frankly, the way the injuries this season and the way he came back where he wasn't quite himself makes me feel like maybe all those years of going to the finals, man, he's played an extra 2 seasons of basketball.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
He's already got a lot of seasons in the NBA. Makes me feel like maybe we won't see 100% LeBron.
But I mean, it's really up in the air. I mean, really, because every team has a 1-2 punch. Every team that is, I mean, playoff that you would think is a playoff team has a 1-2 punch in the West. More in the West than in the East.
Loaded.
Yeah. So,
Hey, speaking of the East, what did you think about Milwaukee giving Giannis an MVP day?
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
Yeah, they had a big old party for him. Kind of like I don't know if it was a parade or not. I don't think it was, but kind of like a big old gathering in the middle of town and speeches and all this other stuff. And he talked about, he got on the mic for a while to thank them for their support and stuff. Well, it was just kind of weird.
Well, I mean, they didn't have a parade, the championship parade, so they replaced it with an MVP parade.
When was the last time they did that? One of the best MVP presentations or whatever that I can remember is when the Rockets and the Spurs were playing in the Western Conference Finals. And this was back when they would hand out the MVP trophy during the conference finals. Mm-hmm. So at halftime of one of the games, they give the MVP trophy to David Robinson. And it was a game where Akeem Olajuwon was absolutely torching him. And of course, the Rockets went on to win that series and go to the finals. And I think that was a year they won. But I was like, man, I think that's when the NBA said, maybe we shouldn't hand out the the MVP trophy until after the season is completely over.
Or after the playoffs.
That was very embarrassing. Yeah. Let's wait till after the finals because that was embarrassing.
Well, shit, when you think about it, the Greek Freak, they haven't had an athlete like him or someone,
Since Kareem.
Since Kareem, right?
Yeah. They have not had one since Kareem. They haven't won an NBA title since Kareem.
But I think that goes to show what kind of city. How can I put this without? That goes to show you the difference between Milwaukee and say Philadelphia and New York. Like Philadelphia and New York are not going to give you a freaking parade for an MVP. There's a little more hospitality. It's just different.
Well,
and
hey, look, let's not paint it with a benevolent brush because I'm sure part of it is we don't want this guy to leave. Let's be super nice to him. I don't think it's just
that's
celebrating the fact that
I don't think that's what it is.
That's what it felt like to me.
I don't.
It felt like we need to make sure he doesn't leave. Let's be super nice and have an MVP party for Giannis.
I mean, if he's gonna leave, he's gonna leave. Whether they have a party for him or not, I don't think that.
So are the Grizzlies now the favorites since they won the NBA Summer League?
Gotta be. I mean, their odds just
they're champs.
They're champs.
They know how to get through the grind of the NBA Summer League.
How much of the Summer League did you watch?
0. I do not watch exhibition basketball.
Yeah, I watched a little bit here and there.
We talked about this last week with gambling, right?
But I didn't put any money on the games, but I did watch some.
Your online bookie didn't have lines for the NBA Summer League?
No. He shut me down. He said, bro, you need some damn help.
They said, you're stupid. No,
here's a number, call it.
Yeah. Gamblers Anonymous.
So, but What else? I don't know. What the hell you want to talk about?
You know, I do kind of want to talk about one thing that you probably don't want to talk about. Have you heard about this guy, Frank Meza?
No.
So, a gentleman by the name of Frank Meza was a runner. And I say was, and that is the correct term to use.
Uh-huh.
He was a runner, 73-year-old man. And he started posting some world-class times at marathons. And even posted a time that was a new world record for his age group, men 70 to 75. Come to find out, he had twice been disqualified from one particular marathon in Sacramento.
How old was he when he got disqualified?
I don't know. It was a few years ago. This has all happened in the last 5 years.
Too damn old to be disqualified.
He got disqualified for course cutting, albeit by accident.
Jeffrey Butler.
Yeah. And then there's this website called Marathon Investigation. And this guy has, I won't say he's built a career, but he's built this website by basically outing cheaters. And he started off looking at people who ran the Boston Marathon and how they got there. And, because you have to qualify to get to Boston. So he would look at people based on gender and age. And they had a 3:10 qualifying time, but then they ran 4:10 at the Boston Marathon. He's like, oh, wait a minute. So that seems kind of odd, right? So he'd go back and he'd look at their qualifying race, and he would find that they were missing times at different split checkpoints, and there were no pictures of them on the course. He started doing all kinds of investigation and started outing cheaters. So they brought this guy to his attention, and they figured out that, well, obviously nothing is 100%, I don't think, but they figured out this guy cheated. And it's just this huge uproar on the internet. And come to find out, he was an assistant cross-country coach at a high school. He was a physician by trade, but he also was an assistant cross-country coach for a high school team. And they started shaming him and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, the guy's 73. And it's not funny, bro. This story takes a very bad turn because about a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, they found him floating in the river.
Oh, shit.
So they don't know. At this point, I think they have ruled it a suicide. But,
golly.
Right? Look, I don't like the fact that he cheated. I don't feel personally offended by him cheating. Right? I run marathons. I try to qualify for Boston. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. And I'm not in his age group, and even if he was in my age group, I'm not competing. I'm not that good of a runner. So I don't feel personally offended by him cheating. I don't like that he cheats. I wish he wouldn't do it. I wish people wouldn't do it.
Well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
But at the end of the day, I'm not offended, right? Mm-hmm. But people get on these forums, and there's one forum in particular, letsrun.com. Obviously a runner's forum. And people are fucking brutal. And, obviously they contacted the coach at the high school. He was the assistant coach. They contacted the head coach. They talked to some of his high school students. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous how far people go with this stuff. And at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a fucking marathon that there's no prize money involved. Yeah, there's some fame there, I guess. Whatever. But it just seems ridiculous to me. And I don't know
that they're bashing him.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know his state of mental health going into this, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe he already had mental health issues. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I doubt it. Mm-hmm. And somehow all of this bashing pushed him to the point where he killed himself. And it's all this bashing by people that sit behind a computer screen that would never say it to his face, but would, get all that keyboard courage and say all kinds of nasty stuff to him. And that's the part that bothers me about the story. Is people, I live by one simple rule on Twitter. If I wouldn't say it to someone face to face, then I don't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It just people just need to chill out.
Maybe that investigator opened up a can of worms and kind of made this guy feel bad and about what he was put out on Front Street, right? And so now that gave people an outlet who sit behind the keyboard and don't know this man personally to bash him and talk about him, and it sounds like maybe he committed suicide or something. I mean, I don't know, but just from my point of view,
it's just to me the problem lies with. I don't have a problem with the marathon investigator,
but that's who started it.
Well, no,
because the story probably wouldn't have gotten out there.
No. The story got out when he ran the record time. People were like, "Hey, wait a minute!" But this guy got disqualified from other races. How do we know? And someone sent the information to the marathon investigator. The marathon investigator did what the marathon investigator does, right? And he put it out there, and the marathon investigator is no joke. I mean, he's not just going to look at that race. He's going to look at your history of races, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just... my problem is with people on Let'sRun.com and other websites, and I'm sure this happens in all walks of life, not just running. There's no need to be that... There's no need to bash a guy. He already got disqualified. I'm all for sending the information to the races and making them aware so that they can disqualify him, pull him from the results, take away his award, all that shit. I'm all for that. But I think that's where it should end, right? Like, I don't see the need for people... Like, I didn't feel the need to get on Let'sRun.com and talk bad about Frank Mason, call him a POS and all this other stuff. He did what he did. He got disqualified, got his results pulled. Los Angeles said, you can come back. The Los Angeles Marathon said, you can come back and run again next year, but we would really like for someone to run with you to squash this controversy. He had agreed to it. Seems excessive to me for people to continue to bash him.
Yeah, it really is, because when you think about it, this guy cheated on a marathon. I can probably think of a few things worse that I've done than what he did, right? Compared to what he did. I mean, the guy didn't kill anybody. He didn't commit a crime, right? So it really is sad that people can sit there, whether it's face to face, whether it's behind the keyboard. But you're right. It's
99% of it was not face to face.
Right. You're right. But I'm saying either scenario, to sit there and pretty much bash anyone is kind of unfair. They probably need to look in the mirror first.
I don't understand people that's why I don't read comments. I mean, occasionally I do, but I rarely read comments because I don't see the point, well, even with this show, I get comments from people sometimes people that I know, sometimes people that I don't know. They give me shit for whatever, and I read it and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let me check with the executive producer of the show. Yep, it's okay. I can say that. I don't give a shit. I don't have time to worry about everyone's feelings and whatnot. But it's crazy that people go to such lengths. I mean, if you read some of the stuff on Let'sRun.com in general, not just in this case, but just in general, it's like, holy crap. It's all this haterade. On back in February, Lance Armstrong, for charity, ran the Austin Marathon. He started dead last, and he, got $1 for every person he passed, or $5, whatever that number was. Mm-hmm. And he ended up running 3:03. He passed, 5,000 people, whatever the number was. And there was an article in Runner's World about it. And, so I read the article, blah, blah, blah. I get to the bottom, and there's like 4,683 comments. And I'm like, 4,000 people thought this was worthy of a comment. I'm like, look, it's cool and all, but it's not worth a comment. So what do? I decided, okay, well, look, if so many people are commenting on it, maybe I missed something in the article.
Yeah.
I started reading, and the first 5 are bashing him about using steroids in the Tour de France. It's like, who cares? That's not what he's doing here.
Right.
And that's the other thing with the internet. There's no path to redemption, right? So this guy, let's say this guy cheated. Let's say he was guilty of cheating. He got disqualified from 2 races. There were, I think, 5 or 6 other suspect times. Let's say he cheated 12 times. And LA came to him and said, you can run our marathon again, but with you have to be accompanied by someone.
Right.
And he said yes. Why can't we let that play out and let him have a redemption story? Right? But no. In today's day and age, we just freaking bash him to... I was going to say weird. Bash him to death, and that's probably not the right thing to say, but you get my point.
It's weird because America loves a good redemption story.
I know.
Right? So
I know.
Like, I know I do.
But yet we don't... But now, in this age with the internet, we don't give people a chance.
No.
We just... He's convicted, he's tried, convicted, and sentenced in the public eye with no redemption. And it's like, look, people, if your life is so bad, if you feel so morally obligated to run your gums via keyboard about what a guy did, look in the mirror first.
Yeah. And
if you can claim to be perfect, then go ahead and hit send. But if not, man, keep it to yourself. It's too much. It's too much. It's silly almost.
Yeah, I agree. It's, I don't know. The fucking world we live in.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel really bad for his family. I feel really bad for those high school kids that he coached. I feel bad for the people on the periphery, right? His friends. I'm sure he's got running friends that...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think about me, right? I'm a runner. If I ended up committing suicide because of the heat, right? I mean, my family, yeah, they support me, but it's not like they're all vested in it. It's a small part of what I do. So, for me to end up taking my life because of a running thing, they'd be like, that sucks.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of friends, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's crazy.
Anyway. Boy, that was a uplifting piece. Let's talk about that again.
Okay.
You got anything else?
Nah, I don't have nothing.
We're going to make this a short one?
I'll make this a short one.
Yeah, because I am dog tired.
You had a long weekend.
I was up in Dallas for my son's baseball tournament, 7 games in 4 days. One day we had 3 games where, we lost. We lost on a walk-off in the first game and had the next 2 games we won. Both games had 7-run comebacks. I'm exhausted.
Nice.
And today I went to work. I didn't do shit. I mean, I am not recovered.
One of those days where you just
kind of stare at your computer screen and hope for the best.
Hey, close your. If you work in an office with the door, well, obviously your office would have a door, but you put your little light on that says busy or meetings all day. Your Skype.
Yeah. Busy.
That's right. In a meeting, do not disturb.
Yeah. Very busy. Block out my entire calendar on Outlook. Man, yeah, it was, and we're up in Dallas. It's hotter than hell. I don't know how they did it because they play on turf.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, it is. No, it's not. It's the opposite of cool. It is hot, hella hot.
Huh. And Dallas, the couple of times I've been to Dallas, it feels like Dallas is hotter than Houston.
But it's dry heat. Don't you love when people tell you that? It's a dry heat.
No, there's a difference between dry heat. Yes, there is.
No, there isn't, bro.
Yes, there is.
There's a difference.
Have you been to Vegas?
There's a difference when you run.
It's all the same shit.
No. When you're running, there's a difference.
No, there's not.
But when you're sitting outside watching a baseball game in the blazing sun, It doesn't matter if it's humid. You're going to melt.
No. When I went to Vegas, it was a dry heat. It was beautiful. Nothing compared to Houston. Houston,
but it wasn't a hundy.
This is Vegas in August.
Oh,
it's a hundy plus a hundy.
It's a hundy times
Now,
two?
to me, there's a difference. I mean, you walk out here, in Houston, you walk outside, and right now in July or August, you're gonna fucking pass out. In Vegas, you can actually walk the strip. I've done it, and you're like, wow, this is awesome. My fucking armpits aren't sweaty. Like, I don't need to put on any more deodorant. Fucking great.
If I walk outside in the sun, it doesn't matter how much humidity there is.
Yeah.
I'm sweating and...
Yeah.
Yeah, so at one point during one of the games, they've got awnings and stuff, so you're in the shade watching the games. But one of the games, my phone died. So between innings, I walked to my car to plug it in and walked back. I'm talking about a 2-minute walk.
Right.
And I was dripping with sweat. And then my son was coming up to bat, so I walked back to the car to get it so I could film it.
Right.
And now I'm just soaked. I had to put my phone in rice.
Sweat all over your phone.
Exactly.
Terrible.
Hey, you got a shout out?
Barry Sanders, happy birthday. 51 years old.
That guy looks good for 51 too.
He sure does. He sure
Lucky
does.
bastard.
Probably my favorite football player of all time.
Really?
Yeah. My first football jersey was a Barry Sanders jersey.
I can't think of a favorite football player of all time.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe his moves, I guess. I don't know.
He
I was just really drawn. I remember being really drawn to him.
He was something else, man.
I didn't know who the fudge he was. I got his jersey for whatever reason. I don't know why. And I just followed him ever since then. So I must have been 11, 12 years old. But shout out to Barry Sanders, 51.
My shout out goes to Simona Halep and Novak Djokovic, who won Wimbledon this weekend. Simona Halep faced big, bad Serena Williams. That's right, the Serena Williams with 23 majors under her belt, and promptly beat the brakes off Serena Williams. She beat her 6-2, 6-2. I don't think Serena's ever been beaten that bad in her career. And, hats off to Serena making another final. But Simona Halep is, she's a top-ranked tennis player for a reason. She's really good, and she was really good on Saturday. And on the men's side, Novak did not look good for 4 sets. The first 4 sets, he struggled. He was barely making it through. He pushed 2 of those sets to tie breaks and won the tie breaks, and so it was 2-2 going into the 5th. And the new rule came into play at Wimbledon. It used to be that in the 5th set, they didn't go to a tie break. They just go on forever, and that's how you got that one match with Isner a few years ago that was 43-41 in the 5th set or something crazy like that. They had to finish it the next day. Well, now they changed the rule where you don't go to a tiebreak until it's 12-12. And the very first match to go to the 5th set that needed the tiebreak in the new era, under the new rules, happened to be the men's final. And Novak won that. I don't remember what the score was, but 13-12 was the final score of the 5th set. And a 4-hour marathon match. It was still pretty long. But
wasn't it 5? Didn't it go 5?
5 hours?
I thought it went 5.
I don't think so. I thought it was 4 and change. Almost 5.
Well, either way, it's
a long time.
That's a lot of tennis.
If you think about it, if you stop and think about it, when you hear about these tennis matches that go 4 hours, I mean, I know I go to work for 8 hours, but it's not like I'm concentrating for 8 hours. I take a little break. I go get coffee. There's a lunch break in there. Sometimes I fuck off and
try to set the world record on the toilet.
Right, exactly. Sometimes I research world records after I hear a story about a guy wanting to sit on the toilet for 116 hours. So,
Right.
These guys are physically exerting themselves, concentrating, trying to win a tennis match for 4 hours, man. It's something else. So hats off to both of those tennis players. really a fantastic weekend for them, and onward we go. Oh, and Roger Federer, who lost.
Can't shout him out. He lost.
Another major final. It's just incredible.
Where do you rank Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer? Because it feels like Djokovic. I don't watch tennis that much, but every time I hear it's Nadal and Federer, but it sounds like Djokovic lately in the past maybe 3 years.
Today,
Djokovic. No, I mean Federer.
Today, the best tennis player in my eyes today is Djokovic, unless they're playing on clay, in which case it's Nadal. I think Federer is number 2 in both.
Who's got the most titles?
If you look at a career, Federer has.
He's got the most titles?
He's got the most major championships.
Okay.
On the men's side ever.
Okay.
Right? He's got 20. And he's a little bit older than the other two, right? He's 38, whereas the other guys are 34. 33. The other guys are like 33, 34. He's 38. So he's a little bit older. So today, yes, I think Novak is the best tennis player in the world. But if I look at a career, I think Federer is the best, obviously, right? He's won the most majors. What's interesting, and we'll never know, how many major titles would Federer have won, or Nadal or Djokovic for that matter, if the other two weren't around?
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, the last 12 major championships, which is 3 years worth of major championships, have gone to one of those 3 men.
Wow. That's insane.
It's crazy. It's been a grip since we've seen someone else win. I'm sorry, 11. The last 11. So all of 19, all of 18, and all of 17 has seen only one of those 3 men win.
So there's been really no. So I haven't missed out on anything. Like there's really no reason to watch because I mean one of those 3 are gonna win.
And the funny thing is every single major is the same way. They look at the draw and they see which one's paired up with which one.
Right.
And then they assume the other one's going to go to the final, and then, one of these two is going to knock each other out, and that's how they meet in the final. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's insane.
So, with that, we're coming to a close on episode 83. If you want to reach out to the show, you can do so via email at positivesports10@gmail.com. Positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to share your crazy Guinness Book of World Records story with this guy, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
You can also reach the show on Twitter at
Positive Sports 6.
That's the number 6.
The number 6.
And if you want to share your crazy Guinness Book of World Records stories with me, you can reach me on Twitter as well at eMontana21. Episode 83 of the Positive Sports Podcast. Famous number 83?
Fuck. The only one that... Andre Reed?
That was the first one that
was
came
it?
to mind.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
I can't think of another one off the top of my head. 83.
I'm sure there's a tight end.
Wasn't Joe Horn the guy who whipped out the cell phone from underneath the?
I think he was 82.
I thought he was 83. I could be wrong.
I can't think of another 83.
Why is
tight end?
Why is 83 not more popular?
Because it's an odd
funny,
number.
Like in the 80s, there are some numbers that are more popular than others.
Because it's an odd number.
Well, 81's pretty popular. 85. 87.
Yeah.
83 seems to be the weakest one of the bunch.
Could be, yeah.
And 86.
Obviously, because we can only think of one.
Either that or we're fried. Me from being out in the sun all weekend, you from not going to college.
That's right.
Alrighty, folks.
Touché.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your listenership, viewership, whatever.
Sponsorship.
Subscribership.
Commentship.
Commentary-ship.
Commentship.
As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.